So this detail from the recent affirmative action decision is probably the worst thing about it and shows just how nonsensical and generally terrible the majority of the Supreme Court truly is. So I don't know if you guys know this, but the Supreme Court made an exception to their rule to remove race-based affirmative action across colleges. This means that certain colleges will be allowed to continue to pursue diversity by taking into account each applicant's race. But can you guys guess which colleges? Well, in the ruling, there's a footnote that says that the decision does not apply to military academies, and this is because of the potentially distinct interests that military academies may present. And the next question is, what are those potentially distinct interests? Well, according to an amicus brief from military leaders at West Point, the importance of diverse leadership has risen to new heights in recent years, as international conflicts and humanitarian crises require the military to perform civil functions that call for heightened cultural awareness. All service members, minority or otherwise, are better equipped to meet these challenges if they are educated in a racially diverse environment and guided by diverse leadership in the field. So basically, the court is saying that they'll allow diversity to be considered at military academies because a more diverse military is better at going to war. So the idea that racial diversity is better for learning and society is basically the exact same argument that regular universities were used to keep race-based affirmative action. Like, we were all talking about how black patients are better served by black doctors, how diverse corporate leaders can funnel resources to marginalized communities, and how in some cases black politicians can better represent their people, so on and so forth. But obviously the court didn't care about any of the benefits of racial diversity in American society more generally. Instead, they continued a centuries-old phenomenon of the US government only caring about black people when preparing to put our lives on the line for their wars. When black people were literally enslaved, one of the only times they got any form of temporary freedom was when they were fighting in the Revolution and in the Civil War. When black people were living under Jim Crow segregation, one of the only places that wasn't formally segregated was the military during the Vietnam War. And a lot of the high-quality academic and career programs in poor black and brown communities are the ones that prepare them to go into the military, not academic colleges. And we're seeing this dynamic continue with the only schools that are allowed to intentionally pursue racial diversity being military academies. According to Justice Sotomayor, the fact that they made this exception in the first place shows that they understand exactly the reason why racial diversity is important. And also, she points out how this exception shows that they all understand that the 14th Amendment does not categorically prohibit the use of race in college admissions. And in the words of Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, these people think that racial diversity in higher education is only worth potentially preserving to prepare black Americans for success in the bunker, not the boardroom. And I believe that this detail tells you everything you need to know about how the conservative majority views the value of black lives. Let me know what you think in the comments and follow for more.